Alright, everybody, welcome back to the Dota 2 Canada Cup Season 4. We've got game number 2 with Rebeldes going up against Together. We did it in one of the semifinals for the open qualifiers, I guess, or the main qualifiers as it is. Together we did it, dropping game 1 after a long defense. And we'll see if they can maybe take game 2, push it to a game 3. But I'm Wolf Dota, joining me is Mr. MRP Dota. What are your thoughts?
I feel like it certainly wasn't a drafting issue from either teams. A little bit better execution in the laning stage from Rebeldes in that game 1, and even though they fed over a solo kill on their Lycan in the mid lane, they were able to accrue farm elsewhere. Liposa doing very well early on in his clockwork, wasn't so influential later on, but with that Midas pickup from CYS, they were able to scale very well. So I feel like TWDI just needs to have a little bit better movement early on. Their high ground defense was very solid, but unfortunately just taking one bad engagement, a little bit of overzealousness from their Tide, I feel like, was the decider in that one.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate there. He got a lot of really solid ravages in kind of the mid to very late, but it only takes one, especially when you're down 2 lanes of Rax against a Lycan. And we can see, as these teams, they know what they want, and they burn through their opening part of the draft very quickly. Vengeful Spirit, Batrider, and Ancient Apparition banned out and tied by Rebeldes. The Lycanthrope, Patrol Warlord, Witch Doctor, and a +1 going to be banned up at Together We Did It. The Axe, first pick overall, followed up by the SF Bristleback for Together We Did It. Following that trend, then Juggernaut to round it out.
Axe is very nice versus TWDI's opening. So I like the opening from Rebeldes thus far. You're able to turn the Bristleback forward to jump and throw your burst on him during that call duration, and also stop up the Requiem through BKB with that. So very nice. Mini stun available to the Omni Slash as well of the Juggernaut, and that physical damage will be pretty nice against what TWDI has to offer. Venge banned out here, so not too much minus armor going to come out from either side, barring some sort of medallion pickup, but they both will once again go for some heavy physical damage early on, and the laning stage does bode well once again for Rebeldes with that Axe pickup. It'll be interesting to see if they leave him solo or if they pair him up with something like an Omni Knight.
No, yeah, I think Bristleback's better solo. You really needs that experience lead. Doesn't need gold, just needs to be up there in levels.
Yeah.
I don't think Omni Knight would be bad though. It would certainly help out the SF, and I mean, because most of the time Axe is going to be right up in his grill, and so the purification damage to go through it. I'm not sure. It's kind of a weird mechanic. It's something I haven't tested. Maybe you know. Can you repel off the call debuff?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's not a purgeable effect.
Yeah, no, I don't believe so. So
okay, it's just a little thought I had.
Yeah,
maybe something like that would be funky.
It would certainly be considered a counterattack if that were the case. But no, I actually meant the Omni Knight with the Axe. But either way, he'd be good for both teams. Definitely. I really like the pickup of the line from TWDI with the Axe. If they picked up the line on the Rebeldes side, it's almost an instant finger of death from the front side more often than not. So I do like that pickup there. With the healing ward available to them, Ancient Apparition banned out, they're going to pick up the Chen Hand of God as well as his units from Rebeldes. So look for some early aggression from them. Not sure if this is the greatest choice into a Bristleback.
Yeah, maybe not. It's kind of one of those things. Bristleback, his quills will take a while to burn through the Chen creeps just because of how much health they always have.
Yeah.
And Chen actually does a fair bit of damage with his nuke and can slow the Bristleback down if he gets leveled up enough and gets those points of independence. It's actually not a bad slow, and the bonus damage as well. So I know exactly what you're meaning though. I feel like if Bristleback gets within an inch of Chen just dies. Like it's forfeit.
Yeah. I mean, typically you don't want to build a lineup that wants to five man into a Bristle, but either way, the lineups that do 5 men into a Bristle that I've seen work out really do have a lot of heal, because as you mentioned, Bristleback is more of a sustained damage over time type carry rather than the burst. So that is certainly the way to deal with him if you choose to 5 men. But once again, TWDI going to pick up the Earthshaker into a lot of these units.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a really smart pickup of going up against the Chen. So he's going to be having at least a couple, 2 or 3 creeps most of the time. Maybe later if he's got goes for the mass troll, Troll Dark Lord summoners. Gets a couple of the skeletons up and running. So lots of extra units for the Earthshaker to echo off of, and just one more way to clear that out. But I mean, I get that they picked it up last time, so it's a support that they obviously like, and it's very good with the Lion. Lots of setup and nuke there, but I'm just a little bit worried that they don't have enough hard carry like they did. Like last time, I said the Wind Ranger was the hardest carry on the map, and I think 1v1 she would have been able to take pretty much anyone. but Rebeldes had a lot more carries. Together we didn't have the SF again, but he went for a very utility build. Didn't go for
Yeah.
a lot of right click. Didn't have a Daedalus. Didn't have a Butterfly, Mantis style. Nothing like that. You traditionally see. It just had the Blink, Satanic, Yules, Boots of Travel, and something else. I don't remember now.
Yeah, so it really wasn't too scary on the SF. It was the BKB, the final
right.
there. So, yeah, very defensive build from him, aside from the early game Yule's Blink Requiem combos. So, look for him perhaps to transition for Jix into a little bit more of a carry. Don't feel like he played poorly, but at the same time, Ditch just didn't really itemize for as late as the game ended up being taken. And perhaps he expected that early push coming from Rebeldes, which was the case. But either way, as you mentioned, they're probably going to need their safe laner here in the final pick from TWDI, so it'll be interesting to see what they grab. They definitely do need a little bit more scalability, but Bristleback Shadowfiend, nothing to shake a stick at in the late game, and Lion is pretty good throughout the game with all the utility he offers. So it'll be interesting to see who has the favor in that interval of the game if it gets that far.
Yeah, and I mean, you think about the last game. Imagine if they had picked up a Medusa or maybe a Naga Siren or something like that instead of the Wind Ranger. Maybe an anti-mage. He doesn't scale that well against the Lycan. A little bit too much damage, but like the split push potential is what I'm talking about with the Naga, and the AM, and then just the raw team fight presence from the Naga Siren. Like if they had had her, they could have rapier A-click the mid lane kind of thing at the end there. But they didn't have that much late game, so we'll see what they want to go. Vengeful Spirit banned out though this time, which I realized was at the beginning of the game. And I am quite happy they did. The Nyx ban, though, makes you think Rebeldes is going to pick up their own Medusa. Morphling going to be the pick for Together We Did It, so certainly some hard carry there. And is it the Medusa with the Nyx ban? Yep, easy call. Easy call is easy.
Yeah, very much so, and it's going to buff up the physical damage from the rest of their lineup in the Juggernaut, as well as some of what the axe does. Of course, Counter Helix not going to do much when your enemies turn to stone, but either way, the Juggernaut and Medusa should have a good time off of that, and they are a lineup that wants to look to 5-man with the Chen, so Stonegate's going to prove very influential, I feel, in this one, and if TWDI picks that up, I feel like it does so much work for them with the Bristle and the SF, especially against the push of RBD, but RBD going to get that ever so coveted Medusa, and I really feel like it should fare well for them in this one.
Yeah, and moving into the teams, we've got Taku playing the hard carry again. He's going to be on a Morphling this time. Jipples is going to be back on that Earthshaker. He had a very solid game last time. Rio is going to be on the Lion. No Vengeful Spirit for him. SF now being picked up by Jix again, though, so comfort hero for him. And Soji going to be on the Bristleback. Maybe a little bit less pressure as far as getting off that one big spell, but a little bit more pressure on constant good positioning. So we'll see.
Yeah,
he's able to perform.
Definitely, as you mentioned, he's in his comfort zone. But either way, we'll see how he fares. On the side of Rebeldes, we've got HFN on the 1 position Medusa. That leaves Cat on the Chen, and we will see CYS taken towards the safe lane on his Juggernaut. So probably a mid Medusa here, excuse me. Liposa going to go towards that off lane. He's currently accompanied by Lovejoy on the Skywrath, but we'll probably see him rotate over to the safe lane promptly here.
I worry for the Skywrath Mage, like a lot. I mean, normally you think the Silence is pretty good against Morphling, but he's probably going to go for a Manta style, very common on the Morphling, so get out of that pretty easy. And, I mean, you don't even need the full shotgun. Like, you get a high-level adaptive strike and a waveform, Skywrath is going to be an easy pick-off anytime. Same with the Chen, and it'll be way too quick. It'll happen way too fast for anyone to really react. So, also kind of nice up against the Juggernaut, and Morphling, somebody who likes to go for the Ghost Scepter can really deal with that as well.
Yep, mid lane, we got a Medusa versus an SF, guys. This is game 2, and TWDI, with their backs against the wall, they'll be eliminated from contention to make it to the D2CC if they fall in this one.
Mid lane Medusa, I think, is really strong, especially if the player understands when to throw the snake. I've seen some people do it, and they throw the snake when there's like 4 creeps left, and every time, and it's like, really? Come on. But I'm assuming these guys understand what they're doing. I'm not worried about it. She's going to throw it. Oh, but doesn't get the bounce. It's a little unfortunate. But, jeez. What? Axe getting picked off by the Lion, Morphling, and the Earthshaker. First blood going the way of the support Lion. I was watching mid lane. I didn't even see that happen.
Yeah, neither did I, but Waveform, very strong nuke early on, and with the Fisher as well as that Earth Spike, easy kill onto the Axe, who is pretty innately tanky, but up against those 3 nukes and all the disable that it offers, wasn't able to survive. He should be able to rotate back into lane and do just fine.
Yeah, it's one thing though, maybe you start worrying about him, maybe stack up a single camp for him or something like that. Cat in the jungle, go for one of those. Do something along those lines, just in order to give him a little something to fall back on. But we'll see. He's got to be careful though. He can get picked off again if the Earthshaker rotates back through.
Yep, Bristol attempting a pull to the large camp only ends up getting 1 creep over as CYS able to intercept the rest of them. But the range creep will be a little bit confused for the moment. And Bristol trying to drag the creep equilibrium back in his favor. He should have just a fine time in this lane. No disable able to stop him up with the Jug Skywrath combo. They can concuss him into a Blade Fury, but all he needs to do is turn around in order to survive from that.
Nice play by the Chen. Baits out a Fissure and a Clarity just by spamming the Tornado with his Wildkin at the mid lane, forcing the Shadow Fiend back and pressuring him. He's off to a much better start than he was last time, though. He's already got 8 CS, 9 CS now total. So has those souls, starting to get there, and this is a much better
Top lane.
start. But top lane looks like it's Britzel back. Is he gonna go down? Pops the Sav, nicely done. Now it might be RCS that went too deep. Dives there and gives up a freebie.
Yeah, big kill onto the Juggernaut, and the Fisher actually missed coming out from Jipples, but either way, turn with that nicely popped salve by Soji, and he's having a great time in the off lane currently, as opposed to the Axe of Liposa, who's been pretty much zoned out completely from bottom lane. No last hits and no level 2 quite yet for the Axe.
No, he's gonna be having a pretty rough time. Morphling can harass him back fairly safely, has a lot of armor, doesn't have to worry about this helixes too much, especially later on, as well as we'll have that ability to instantly disappear, as well as pop morph during or when he's called. Mid lane though, Chipple's posturing. He might want to go on this Medusa. We'll see. Doesn't look like it yet. Looks like they're just gonna kind of sit back for a little bit right now.
Yeah, I'm a little curious as to how Liposa is playing so defensively. He should know that this Earthshaker is roaming, seeing that Fisher come out top lane. But he doesn't have any vision right now, so I guess I understand it. I still don't feel like there's kill potential with just Curio and the Morphling here, but they've been very effective in zoning him out. Cat has been able to free farm on the Chen, so that's one nice thing for the early game for RBD, but their lanes are looking fairly weak aside from the mid lane, which is trading pretty evenly, 20-3 to the 17-2 Medusa SF respectively.
Yeah, and I think in this matchup you expect the Medusa to have the slightly easier time. Can farm with the snake less hits with it, as well as do a lot of harass damage. He gets a couple of bounces, so not a hard lane. Oh, actually gonna pick him a haste rune. Maybe look to go aggressive, but Vix is in a pretty safe spot, and he also has those raises. So you gotta be a little bit careful here. We'll spot that out though.
Yeah, definitely so. And Jipple's also rotating behind him defensively, seeing that was the case for the Medusa. Chen didn't look to make a rotation top briefly, but Soji playing pretty defensively actually was able to convince him of otherwise. And Cat can rotate back to that jungle, look to find his level 5. I
wonder now, Chen's got boots and a smoke. Does he look to maybe gank this Bristleback? He can set up a stun. Maybe they can follow up with the get on him with the Blade Fury, bring down the Bristleback. It is only a level 1 Blade Fury, so not a whole lot of damage. I said it looks like that's what they're gonna do. They do have the Skywrath Mage there for the concussive shot slow. They gotta be careful though that they don't get this popped. Bristleback's gonna spot it out. Now they gotta go or they gotta run. Bristleback a little bit concerned, and he's not gonna get caught. So nicely skirting around the gank there, and kind of just a fluke that he happened to be over here and saw them rotating through the river.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a little bit of a miscommunication from RBD, but Lovejoy seemed to stop and wait for the Bristle to perhaps walk forward again, and the Chen kept going. So if they have the Skywrath in front there, maybe he's able to drop a concussive, but
get the slow.
Either way, yeah.
A little bit of something. Morphling farming very well though. 35 and 16 SF, 31 and 3 now. Starting to pass the Queen of, sorry, not the Queen of Pain, the Medusa. Don't know why I thought of Quap. But either way. Pause gonna come out. A little bit unfortunate there. Looks like somebody just needs a second. But what I was gonna say is the SF doing fairly well. Some of that will be jungle camps though. Oh, maybe a little bit of an inflated CS score. But top lane, it looks like they're gonna go for the push. CYS has a Blade Fury up. He's got 3 stacks of Quill Spray on him though.
Yeah.
Gotta be pretty careful. Not sure if they can. I mean, 3 stacks. What level is it? 3. That's stack damage, 34, 90, 180. Like 2 quills and he's dead, I think.
Yeah. I
Maybe
mean, they
3.
do have the Centaur here, though, so if he just runs to the north under Blade Fury, they probably should be able to get that War Stomp off onto the Bristleback. So
Yeah.
I don't think he'll die here, but if he dives deep, he definitely will, especially considering Jipples is coming in with the Fisher available as well. So,
Looks like maybe see some action as soon as this pause comes off. Hopefully neither team waiting takes too long, but it looks like daughter slash wife aggro. Oh jeez. That's good. That's funny. But,
yeah, like our IRL problems. Who has those, honestly?
Taku, he's got the his hand of Midas up, so
Very early,
farming.
yeah.
Yeah, he's had that for. But he's already used it once, and it's
Yeah, a couple seconds
30
ago.
seconds,
So.
and it's 22 seconds off cooldown. So
Mm-hmm.
he had it at just about 5 minutes flat, I imagine. Very nice timing for him, and he's going to be off to a great start for whatever he wants to. And Curio doing a fantastic job of zoning an Axe as a solo support. That is not an easy feat to pull off there, and I'm not sure if it's maybe just Laposa playing a little bit scared, hasn't played Axe a whole lot, not quite sure what the hero can do with a Tango and a Stout Shield, but well, a little bit unfortunate there for more RBD.
Yeah, it's going to really not bode very well, for them into the mid game with this Axe being as shut down as he has been. And I mean, knowing that this Earthshaker's roaming around, I really feel like he needs to play a little more aggressive in this lane. You expect your offlaner to die, so at least if he's able to deny up some of the farm of this Morphling, I certainly would deem that worth it. But either way, as you mentioned, 5 minutes flat roughly on this Midas for Taku, and he's going to look very good onto this Morphling scaling into the late game. Even up against a Medusa, I feel that with a Bristle SF Morphling, TWI certainly can contest.
Yeah, so we'll see lots of things being drawn at the map. I'm currently looking at effigies just because, I mean, 5 minutes into a game, there's only so much to talk about as far as this goes, but nothing too funny there. The best one is the Rubik one on the Radiant. Curio's own personal effigy basking in the glory of K-God. I can only imagine that would be himself.
That or Kuroki. Maybe Curio is some sort of a tribute to Kuroki. Kuroki's a damn good Rubik player, so
True.
Could be, but either way.
More fun to imagine that it's his own personal.
Looks like he's doing the
trophy.
Nesty plunge. Yeah.
So looks like a little bit unfortunate. CYS communicating how he feels about this. But nonetheless, we'll see what they want to do. Some of the coddle sleepers coming out. And I mean, that's just a little bit unfortunate. Who is it that's DC'd? Or, I think it was Morphling that paused. Yeah, it was Morphling that paused. So maybe, I'm not sure which one of them's AFK. I assume it's the Morphling.
Yeah, a little unfortunate. I'm not sure what the tournament rules are for wife aggro, but either way.
And good grief, he's got the rule book. He'll be able to keep everything on lockdown, I'm sure. He seems to be okay with it so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if the horse face there, but we'll see in a moment. You had a
Where's
you had
the
a
moose
test?
icon?
The moose icon. You had a test coming up, didn't you, or something like that?
I had an interview to study for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope that went well for you.
Yeah, it did go fairly well. So we'll see what the results are. But either way, yeah, I had to get a little bit in there, but. Right back to the D2CC after that's available. So hopefully we can commence this for what looks to be a good series. I mean, TWDI standing in pretty good position here early on. They're not trailed far behind by the dual core of the Juggernaut Medusa, but currently the SF Morphling doing very well. And Axe, of course, has been shut down heavily, especially relative to this Bristleback, who's 2 levels ahead of him right now.
Yeah, the Bristleback certainly faring a lot better than the Axe. As far as how his lane's going, but oh man, this Axe isn't. How do you not have a cosmetic item for Axe? I mean,
yeah, that's you're a pretty big scrub when you know, huh? Step your game up, honestly.
Is there anything? There's nothing on this Medusa. I know she's got a bow or two, but she doesn't. Or does she have a full set out now? I don't remember. I know she's had a bow or two for a while, but not a whole lot there. SF does have the Arcana. No 3 Shadow Race combos though.
What chicken butt? Yeah, I used to say that when I was young with my brothers, but nicely played. Well played, Soji. This is well played, Soji. Either way.
Looks like they understand that you can't keep the game paused forever, so they're
Mhm.
not gonna pressure it. I mean, that's very unfortunate though. Hopefully it's nothing serious. Hopefully there's everybody's still alive and it's nothing problematic like that for the guy. Hopefully it is
Looks like it's
simply.
ready to go. So we will see top lane. CYS is able to survive or gets a little bit overzealous here. He'll back off though.
Both teams with a good mana run away. Oh, maybe not. Fissure's there. Bristleback can go back in. Gonna get off another Quill. Gonna get forced back by the Centaur.
Mhm.
And looks like that's gonna be all she wrote. But yeah, that Juggernaut took a lot of damage with that one Quill spray.
Yeah, and the healing ward doing work, however, for him, so he'll be just fine for now, and we'll go back to pretty much the stagnant farming that's been occurring all game long. 6-minute rune going to be secured by Liposa bottom lane, and unfortunately for him, will be an illusion. I mean, that's not pretty nice on Axe, one of the better heroes to get an illusion rune, but either way, probably would have liked a bounty considering how poorly he's doing. He will look to contest this pull, though, and should be able to do so pretty reliably up into Curio's face, even if the Morphling rotates over. But yeah, as you mentioned earlier, playing a little bit too scared on this Axe for my liking.
Yeah, oh, he's gonna get hexed up as well. Earthspike's there as well. Gonna fly out, and that's a lot of damage. Morphling with the long waveform. The call comes out. Liposa needs that armor. We'll see. Morphling not faster, doesn't have boots, not gonna be able to catch him, but almost getting the kill there. He has a point in adaptive strike. Maybe he does, but unfortunately he doesn't.
Yeah, and they rotate Taku out of lane. Unfortunately, his Midas is going to be off cooldown before the side of RBD, basically right when he gets back, so he doesn't miss out on too much, but certainly misses a last hit or two there. So not the biggest worry for Liposa having to rotate out of lane. He's picked up his level 4.5 now, so recovering fairly well considering how poorly he did early on, but still level and a half behind this Bristle.
Yeah, SF. What's the throw? Oh, just bring out his power treads and some obs words for him.
Radiant's
Like
mid
courier.
tower could use a hand.
And they're gonna let their mid tower take some damage here. I'm not sure. Kind of having a bit of a powwow here behind the tier 1. Maybe looking to smoke out. Our Shaker does have one. Maybe thinking that this Medusa needs to be dealt with a little bit there. She's gonna throw the Mystic Take, and she's coming up the hill very aggressively though. Not gonna go. Actually, as I didn't even see that on the backside. Chen ganking them. Now it looks like Jibbles is in trouble.
And just gets picked off there. Chipple is going to be able to rotate back, and Cast Shot still on cooldown was used on the Lion point blank range. But either way, they bring down Curio. He wasn't even able to get an Impale off, so not sure if he was looking elsewhere. But that Ancient Seal was just a smidge late, and it is a level 1/1, but it was enough to bring him down as he is pretty low. At HFN, opting for kind of a burning farming type build here. 1 point in the Mana Shield, 2 points in the Split Shot already at level 8, 1 point in the stats as well. But wow, solo kill found in the top lane by CYS. First usage of that Omni Slash does pay up.
And he was dropping very low as well. Barely got it off. One more close spray and he would have dropped, but he's got a Mask of Madness as well as his healing ward, so he's not even going to worry. Actually going to look to push the tower, I imagine, as now they've gone very aggressive into the jungle. They might look to shut down this Morphling, who still happy as a clam, farming away. Has that Ring of Hell, so it looks like he's going for the Lincoln Sphere. Just a very standard build coming up from him. It will block the silence and the first bounce of the Juggernaut ulti as well.
Jick's going to catch a Thunderclap. He's going to get a raise off into Cap, but he's dropping very low himself. Ancient Seal is going to be out there onto the Bristleback. Call popped up by Liposa. He's not quite level 6. That'll give it to him, though. And he does have the call available for this Bristleback, who is under the threshold, but the Quill Spray going to tick him down. Wave forward coming for him from Taku as well. HFN with a Haste Rune looking for the Bristle. Not able to find it. Will be able to rotate out, though, under the cover of that Haste. And overall, 3 for 1. Going the way of TWDI. Their SF survives there. Very unfortunate for RBD.
Yeah, and there we were just seeing how strong a Bristleback can be when he's allowed to get off multiple quills in a fight. And he got off a lot of them. Brought down the Axe with the final Quill Spray and did an immense amount of damage to the Skywrath Mage. Oh, nicely played there. Juggernaut not in that fight. Instead, just focusing on this top tower. Still standing strong. Can clean up these creeps and then finish off the tower. I'm not sure if a whole lot a level 5 Lion can do up against this level 8 Juggernaut.
Yeah, TWDI going to give Lion a little bit of space in this lane, and with this wave rotating in, he should be able to find his level 6. He's going to throw out an Impale. They're going to have TPs inbound from the Bristle as well, and CYS going to drop this just outside of deny range, luckily for him, so they won't be able to deny that up from him. And Bristle soaking up a bit of XP is going to leave Lion just short of that level 6 milestone, but either way, he will be able to pick it up fairly soon. Elsewise, for the support, we got a level 4 Earthshaker and the level 5 Skywrath and 6 Chen on the side of RBD.
Yeah, so Aku's now gone back for his Sage's mask. A little bit curious there. Not sure what he's going to build into there. Maybe just looking for that Aquila now after he got the Ring of Health. So just kind of going for very early sustain items. Not too worried about it. Going to just continue to farm away.
Yeah.
And speaking of farm, as far as the net worth goes, he is on top by a fair margin. He's about 500 ahead of the nearest on the Dire. So doing all right. SF is a little bit ahead as well. Up lane, what do we got going on here? It's a Lion gonna get, or sorry, the Lion helping bring down the Juggernaut as Bristleback finishes him off.
Yeah, nice Fisher from the tree line. Going to bring him down in range to the Hex there, or the Lion, as well as that Earth Spike. But starting it off with the Goo and just chasing him underneath the tower. Very nice kill coming the way of TWDI. And their Bristle starting to find a lot of momentum. Currently level 8, almost 9. He's going to rotate towards this mid lane. They are going to look to mount a fence. It might be a second too late, but nice deny coming out from Jix. Stonegaze is going to be popped, but it's on the retreat from HFN, and no one really going to be turned to stone except for the Bristleback. However, the recall is there from Chen before he drops to get his Medusa out of any peril. But either way, a couple of these creeps going to be fed over as well, and TWDI really finding their stride mid-game.
Taku, what a carry player. Rotates in, gets the kill, replicates back out, keeps farming. What a guy. Nicely done by him. Now he's about 1,000 gold ahead of that Medusa, and if they can keep her on lockdown like that, or if she's a little bit careless, gets caught out. She ate two shadow raises to the face before she was able to turn that on. So took a lot more damage than she needed to, and we are seeing the Eul's build again. Now they're gonna look for the axe. Fissure's gonna be there. Not a block, but nicely done nonetheless. Triples could look to turn this around. Not going to. No blink dagger.
They had a call Mystic Flare there. A little bit interesting that Liposa doesn't turn. He's been really scared of this axe.
He's rotating through, gets the Omni Slash off, 2 bounces onto the Earthshaker, finishes up. Now he's looking for Kuroi. And not going to go for it. Too many, he remembers how much damage the Quill Sprays did before. He's already up to 4 stacks, and he's going to peace out.
Nice body blocks from Soji there on the Bristleback as well. COS going to TP to bottom lane, and he's going to get replicated instantly by the Morphling, but just looking to stave off the Morphling from this tower. Meanwhile, HFN pushing in the top lane. Looks like he'll be building into that Yasha. Is it being flown over? It is. So full Yasha up for him now. Not farming too poorly.
I caught the tail end of it.
And somehow the Juggernaut dies there.
Popped his Mask of Madness, and the Morphling turned around, right-clicked him, waveformed through, and did too much damage. Plus, I think the Juggernaut illusion got a couple crits. So, a little bit rough there. Taku picking up a solo kill, off to a very good start. He's got 1,900 gold in the bank, almost has that that first orb, the ultimate orb, coming out to him. And now it's Medusa.
Yeah, I love a very early Lincolns. With the Midas pickup and an Aquila, he's going to have like a 15-minute Lincolns, which is a good time if you naked rush it after boots. So definitely very nice for Taku here. He's going to farm up a double stack with this waveform. Should be just fine to do so.
Yeah, moving off, Medusa, she's got a Yasha and a Ring of Aquila, so some early fighting items. Does have a couple points up in her mana shield as well now. Level 11, but still just that first point in Stone Gaze that we often see. Taku dropping very low. Playing a little bit risky up against the creeps, but he just wants to farm these and then peace out. Use that Midas. Use that Midas. There it is. Okay, good. I was a little bit worried for a moment, but now they're going to head back to the base as the Juggernaut and Chen have moved into the Roshan pit. They're going to clean this up very easily. The Ursa Warrior Clap is there. Juggernaut with the Mask of Madness easily staying alive, and they've got the Healing Ward if they need to. So should be a very easy Roshan for them, and a nice little comeback mechanic into this game that they can use in order to kind of maybe stave off some aggression that will be coming out. They're going to get a DD on the way out of the pit.
Yeah, Taku gonna replicate up his Lion, so he'll be able to return to lane pretty quickly here as he picks up his ultimate orb from the base. Jipple's finding a little bit of space in the off lane by himself.
He's dropping very low. The Doves, not enough. 4 health.
Wow.
He's gonna live. Juggernaut's coming in hot though. Got an Omni Slash, gonna start cleaning up creeps. Now the Lion's gonna TP out, but they're not gonna be able to cancel. It looks like they're just worried about the towers. So some very objective gaming there. Don't Omni Slash it. Don't do it. Okay, good. Chen brings in his army. Now they're looking to go.
Yep, the TPs available for the Radiant side are aplenty. Of course, Curio TP'd out, so he's going to have to walk over. But they can mount a defense here, however. Their tower already very low. They'll just concede it over, despite having Glyph there, and they didn't use the Glyph. They are going to run into Jipples here. Ancient Seal going to be popped up. CYS, for some reason, popping a celebratory Blade Fury, but either way, they get a free kill on the Earthshaker.
Is there such a thing as a bad man or Blade Fury? Like, wait, what? Either way, Maybe he's maybe he thought there was going to be an Echo TP or a Fissure TP or something like that, and didn't want to not be able to move.
Yeah, CYS going to tank up the tower. With his Mask of Madness, needs to be a little careful for rotations in here, as it is nighttime, and he doesn't have too much vision behind the tree line. But with that healing ward, he's going to be fine just doing this. And the Chen army available to them. Stone Gaze is there, but the Medusa is low on mana, so they do need to be worried. Arcane Boot's going to be popped now, so they do have it. And this tier 2 going to be traded for their safe lane tier 1 by TWDI.
And RBD also did pick up a kill on the SF. The Skywrath Mage Axe combo that you mentioned earlier with the Mystic Flare after the call was very effective. Axe showing off that Blink Dagger, getting a nice kill there onto a very high priority target. So SF goes down. Morphling still just kind of farming away. And it's not like he hasn't had an impact. He's 3-0-1, been a part of half the kills and gotten 3 of them himself. One being a solo kill as well. So he's been active. He's just everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like the Shadow Fiend must have looked to initiate on Axe or something, because you can use yourself out of call the last time I checked. So maybe he used it to initiate, and then the Skywrath Mage was able to come in with a seal perhaps on the Requiem. But either way, yeah, that's a nice kill going the way of that duo.
Yeah, Radiant's going to move through the jungle. Bristleback's going to get spotted by the Chen creeps, able to grab one of them. But Chen's just going to call the creeps back to himself and gets a couple of them, not all, but loses one tomato, fortunately.
Yeah, so they're not going to have quite the pushing power that they just did, but either way, Jipples under the cover of smoke with Curio weren't able to find much in that bot lane, and they are going to have that expire on them. But either way, nothing much in the way of item progression picked up from either side here that we haven't already mentioned. Mech is going to be built into by the Bristle. Full Lincoln
top lane. Juggernaut taking a lot of damage. Morphling going to back off. Lincoln Sphere popped by the Skywrath Mage. Morphling might have been able to go there against the Juggernaut. Dropped him very low very quickly with the Adaptive Strike and the Waveform away, but not willing to commit. Actually, he's going to come back in. Oh, not quite able to get that, and he's replicating out.
Yeah, the healing ward there for CYS is going to keep him pretty healthy, and he'll be able to retreat in the jungle, find his farm just fine. Didn't have the greatest early game 2-3-0 on this Juggernaut, but it's recovered decently and has maintained his relevance with Jix here. Jix has picked up a Blink Dagger of his own, so he can look for some solo kill potential, but Radiant side is going to need to establish a little bit more aggressive vision. They've only got 2 wards, both on their side of the map, and the Dire have been pretty diligent about at least scouting this Roche pit.
I feel like the other BD have been way too passive. They haven't been roaming around. They haven't been roaming aggressively like they've had, like the lead they had. Now, this Medusa is gonna get farmed. She's got, or sorry, whose ultimate orb is that? That is Medusa's. What am I talking about here? Medusa's got the ultimate orb, has enough for the recipe easily. Gonna be clearing up a large stack with the help of the Chen as well, and she's gonna be fairly farmed and kind of starting to get tough to deal with here. And I mean, I think that late it can go either way, but traditionally Medusa, and I mean Axe is very strong in the late game, having that just like the mini black hole at RP, whatever you want to compare it to, whenever he needs it as well. So it's, I think it's definitely a little worrisome for Together We Did It. The Bristleback, he went for the mech, so not going to have the most damage, but doesn't have that survivability, whereas the Shadow Fiend again is going for this utility build. Not going to be able to right click the Medusa down or her illusions. But I have a lot of eggs on the Morphling basket here.
Yeah, and he's not going to be any more tanky up against the physical damage, especially when buffed up by the Stone Gaze from this build either. So, I mean, I know it works well early on, but as you mentioned, they're not roaming and really queuing much aggression. So, Jix is going to perhaps look to find a solo kill on this Medusa here. I don't think he has quite enough to do it, though. Stone Gaze is going to be able to be popped easily, and Jix going to be turned to stone here. Bottling up the Medusa can bottle up as well. She's got TPs inbound. Jipple's rotating in, but he's a little bit too late to find anything on this Dusa, and they are going to flank him from the backside. Hand of God is used here. Omni Slash going to bring down that Earthshaker. Jix needs to blink out and TP, and he will be able to do so, but perhaps they look to go high ground here. 2 down, both supports from the side of TWDI.
Yeah, and that was just kind of an awkward engagement there. The SF, he didn't do any actual damage to the Medusa. Burnt probably 2/3 of her mana with the Requiem, but then she just Stone Gazed and walked away. There was nothing the SF could do. Morphling's gonna be in a little trouble there. There's the blink. And Taku is gonna get Culling Bladed. Nicely done, popping the Lincoln Sphere with the Ancient Seal. Not gonna get it blocked by the Culling Blade. They're not gonna have it block the Culling Blade and replicate out.
Yeah, definitely a smart usage of abilities from the Skywrath there. If he throws out the concussive shot rather than the Ancient Seal, she'll probably be able to dodge it with the waveforms. So nice, really nice kill on Tataku, who is currently sitting at the top of the net worth. Meanwhile, over on the cliff in the Radiant side, Echo Slam going to be committed onto Cat and the Finger of Death. That's a lot committed just for a Chen kill, but they'll bring a lot of his army low as well. He won't be able to recall them back, so should be a nice influx of gold going the way of TWDI.
Yeah, so they get a lot of those creeps. 2 long cooldown level 1 ultis used, though. Maybe now they can look to push, though, without the Chen threat of split push. But Medusa and Juggernaut still farming away, and, I mean, if we take a look at the golden experience graph, the net worth chart now dipping probably almost 4k in favor of RBD. Spiking up a little bit with the kill, but over 4,000 experience in their favor as well. Morphling going for the full AFK farm build here. Has the Lincolns, the Midas, and now the bots. And look to be anywhere and everywhere, and Staku does not want to fight until he's got Scotty, Butterfly, and a Ethereal Blade.
And he is pretty survivable up against what RBD has to offer. But as we saw in the top lane, if he gets caught out with a call, more often than not, they should be able to bring him down. With the Omni Slash, with that Mystic Flare, even the Stone Gaze is definitely worth using to kill off this Morphling. It's only a 90-second cooldown, so I definitely would like to see them pick him off more. But with the Boots of Travel, as you mentioned, he's going to look to be farming everywhere where RBD isn't. And with the Wave 4 and the Lincolns, should be pretty survivable. However, Liposa rotating in, forced forward into the call. Taku going to have the concussive shot, pop the Lincolns. Ancient Seal is there as well. Mystic Flare. Chop is a little bit early from Liposa. However, he should be able to get out here. Replicate available to him. Negative Earn Charge is there. Waveform going to keep him healthy as he's morphing up. Call is there from the Axe, though. No cooldown. He needs one more spin. He'll be able to get it. And no cooldown on the ultimate there, so a little bit of an itchy trigger finger, but Liposa still getting the kill. Great chase from him in the Skywrath.
It was actually the Strength Morph that did the action. He was low enough for a second, but then the Strength Morph ticked twice, and he had too much HP. So a little bit harder of a pick off there than it could have been, but it was nicely done nonetheless. Medusa with an Invis rune. She's gonna be just fine. And she actually went for the Lincoln Sphere herself. Didn't go for the Mantis right off the bat. To get in her own. She has almost enough for the Manta, just needs about another 900 gold, and she can pick it up.
Yeah, Lincoln's is nice, especially if the Morphling builds an E-Blade. Medusa, without an ability to attack, certainly isn't a Medusa, so E-Blade would be very nice. Top lane, CYS going to get hexed up, and they will bring him very low, if not down. The Hand of God going to be used. He's got the Blade Fury mech is there as well from Cat. He'll be able to rotate up to the north. He's going to get recalled back. 4-staff TP from Cat. Oh, he'll get Yules'd up. Unfortunately, Chen, the noble Chen, going to feed over his life for his carry. And bot lane, there is an engagement going on. Taku versus the Medusa of HFN. Will be able to replicate her. Going to be able to use that pretty effectively to farm here. So you will see HFN try and bring that down, but not able to do so. And just going to man up against this Morphling, but no support inbound from either side.
SF going for BKB a lot earlier than he did last game. So we'll see if they're able to make that work. But I mean, I feel like BKB is not that great this game. You've got the Medusa Stone Gaze, the Axe Call, Culling Blade, Juggernaut's the Omni Slash goes right through it as well. And I mean, sure, the Skywrath Mage can't hurt you, but that's not. I don't think that's I don't think that's going to matter. They've got more than enough damage from their cores and the control from the Axe to deal with it. So it's kind of a questionable pickup, but I mean, it's not a bad thing at all. It will block a lot of damage from different sources.
Yeah, it's not the best BKB game. It almost feels like he should go for it just against... I mean, even the net, though, from the Chen Creep pierces BKB. Like, it really only stops the Skywrath Mage and the Blade Fury, which often isn't maxed out here. Top lane, Ancient Seal going to go out onto the Bristleback. He's going to be slowed up as well. Fisher will be there. Jump forward from Jix is going to Yule up the Skywrath. He's channeling up the Requiem. Going to blow him up, one-shotted completely. The Omni Slash is available to CYS. Oh, not for 20 seconds. Jix going to turn and get Stone Gazed up, though, and so much physical damage going his way. Mystic Snake going to bring down the chop for the Lion there, and overall 2 for 2 across the map. I believe that Chen was brought down earlier, however, so it looks like a 2 for 1 in the top lane. CYS going to look to chase forward. 5 seconds until the Omni Slash is available. Jimpo's trying to TP out. Call will not be there, and he will be able to make it. Hadouken a little bit too late as well, so very unfortunate they don't get that third kill, but bringing down Jix and baiting out his 10-second BKB, well worth the Skywrath Mage dying.
Yeah, and I mean, definitely in favor of RBD there. They did get the SF. Trading 2 supports for the SF and a support, so favor them, and nicely done. Juggernaut actually going for getting a Diffusal Blade. Kind of an odd pickup, I guess. Trying to burn the Morphling's mana while Omni Slashing, or just maybe pop the Lincoln Sphere with something. I'm not too sure. There's a lot to purge. I guess you can purge the Hex if Lion hexes somebody, but kind of an interesting pickup.
Yeah, CYS is going to jump into the Roche pit here. He's picked up a Diffusal Blade, as you mentioned. So yeah, it is odd. It definitely does increase his effective DPS, but no immediate real usage. I guess he expects an E-Blade to come out eventually, so perhaps that's the choice there. Has the Ghost Scepter been picked up? It has. So, I mean, it's a decent item up against that, but he's going to look to find Roche here. Replicate of the Bristleback is going to walk in and scout this out, however, and 4 members of TWDI are available. That's going to fuse CIS to Blade Fury right out of the pit. Doesn't have a TP available, does have the Mask of Madness. Can you look to walk away into most of his lineup here, though? So they will look to contest this Roche, perhaps. Will the Dire side. They're going to try and bring down this Replicate, but just for scouting purposes, it's going to be fine for now.
Yeah, I guess that... Oh, Shadowfiend blinks forward, goes for the Euros onto Chen, has the Requiem, going to start channeling it, going to get called, though. And now, looks like they're going to finger the axe. He forces out to the high ground. Chen pops the mech and the Hand of God, staying alive on the backside. Lion does drop. Now Bristleback gonna be going on HF, and the Omni Slash going through but not doing anything. Doesn't use the Diffusal Blade onto the Morphling, so a little bit iffy there. Now it's Jix gonna get Culling Bladed. Now they're looking to turn. This Medusa still standing strong for now. Morphling, waveform forward, looking for the Juggernaut kill. 4-step forward. Medusa's just a raid boss here, not going down no matter what. Is that a gem in the Roshan pit? Not sure there. Echo Slam whiff. And HFN QQQ gonna be taking a lot of damage. Nice bit there. They do get him in the edge. Juggernaut's rotated back in. This should be dead. Earthshaker it is. Nice jump there, and they're gonna find the gem, and they can maybe not look to take Roche, but at least prevent it. 3 for 2 in the end.
Yeah, that engagement could have gone terribly. We may see some more fighting here, but could have gone terribly for RBD if it wasn't for some really great presence of mind from Liposa. He's able to force himself up to the high ground, get Hand of God it up. He forces CYS up to the high ground after being fingered as well, and keeps the Juggernaut. Speaking of that Juggernaut, he's dead now. Waveform forward from Taku, so unfortunately Liposa not able to use his Force Staff there. Will once again force himself to the high ground. Does have his Blink available as long as he keeps vision of this pit, but he will have to blink out as Kurio's rotating in, and looks like the Roshan will be forfeit over to TWDI.
Yeah, I'm really... Maybe Juggernaut just didn't realize he was bouncing on the Morphling quite quick enough, or what there, but Morphling was able to Ghost Scepter probably 4, maybe 5 bounces. I think maybe it was only 4 off the Juggernaut. But yeah, he had the Diffusal Blade in his inventory, maybe didn't realize that Courier had shown up because he was focused on the rest of the fight. But just a little bit unfortunate there. Now, I mean, it's... Morphling's not going to be Ghost, or E-blading himself. He's going to be shotgunning down one of the supports.
Right.
Hell, even Axe. I mean, Morphling at this point will do so much damage with the Adaptive Strike and the shotgun followed up with the
a little bit odd because the Juggernaut used 3 purges in that fight, and as you mentioned, did allow some of his jumps to get soaked up by that Ghost Scepter. So either way, not the best engagement for RBD, and they feed over the Roshan there, but still looking in pretty good standing at this point. Net worth at about equivalency here, and 2,500 experience lead going the way of RBD. So still anyone's game here 29 minutes in.
Definitely SF. I mean, he's been trying to go for the Requiem kill on these supports, but I feel like if he could get Axe as the target he needs to get, he needs to find Axe with his Insta-Gib. He won't be able to kill the Juggernaut, as he should be able to Blade Fury once he drops. And the Medusa is just too tanky. He has way too much health to deal with, and I mean, it's not really... I don't think that's particularly worth it. Morphling does have that E-Blade now, and they're going to send a Replicate with the smoked up troop. They're heading through the bushes. They're going to find a Chen, maybe? Maybe not. They'll see him come to lane. Morphling can wait from forward into this. Did they see him? Maybe not.
Yeah, they opt to go east. Unfortunately, they would have found out CYS's Juggernaut, but they will place this high ground ordinance. Should see the Juggernaut rotating, and Fisher's going to be there first. Jump forward, enchant totem, E-Blade, Echo Slam. And that's a dead Juggernaut. Meanwhile, Mystic Flare Call is going to be onto Jix. He'll be able to use himself up, and Stone Gaze is channeling, and Jix going to fall 1 for 1 thus far. Curio dropping really low. He'll get the Finger of Death off onto the Skywrath, and we will see Liposa drop as well to the right clicks of the Morphling, and Jump forward and Totem Strike is going to keep HFN there, but he's so tanky, just manning up. He'll find the Earthshaker before he falls, but at the end of the day, double kill going the way of Taku. And excuse me for that one, I had a little lump in my throat, but either way, 5 for 3 is your score overall. Definitely a successful rotation and very timely placement of the ward for TWDI, and they're starting to accrue some sort of an advantage 30 minutes in.
Yeah, they're starting to come back. They were ahead very early. They had some excellent rotations and kills and stuff. Then they got kind of lax. They kind of sagged off there for a little bit. Realized they were maybe a little bit too confident, but gave up a bit of their lead. But nonetheless, they're coming back with a vengeance in starting into this mid to late game. Very far ahead. Morphling 6-2 and 4, nicely done by him, and leading the net worth chart by a substantial amount. So.
I mean, I'm still somewhat worried for them, just considering that they blew up the Juggernaut that early and still traded fairly evenly overall in the fight. I mean, they do have their Morphling and Bristle surviving, so it's not like they lost their significant heroes. But if an Omnislash is committed to that fight, they do a lot better from the side. No replicate available here for Taku. He's going to look to E-Blade down the Skywrath, but perhaps didn't realize his replicate was channeling down. The Diffusal Blade is going to slow him up. Jump forward call will be there, and Taku going to feed over the Aegis here. He's got no replicate available as well. Can wait for him, but Liposa is already positioned up to drop him. Omnislash is going to be committed here, though. Jump forward Fisher is going to look to back things off. Liposa is going to have his combat enabled and not going to be able to blink forward. Taku going to feed over the Aegis, but he's going to be surviving for now.
Yeah, he makes it out after that and does get that kill. Aegis was going to be respawned in a minute, so they didn't lose the most, but maybe could have gone pressure to tier 2 or something like that with it before it went down, or committed to a more favorable engagement. So a little bit questionable there, but in the end, he's got 4,300 gold in the bank. Whether he wants a Butterfly next or a Scotty, the world's his oyster. He can do whatever he wants.
Scotty's very nice into
the health.
Yeah, exactly. The stats, not only that, the kite ability of the axe, as well as through the Blade Fury, which often CYS is going to rely on to get out of engagements. So I feel like Scotty's a great pickup for him here. Butterfly's not bad as well versus what they have to offer, and of course gives him a lot of agi, but he's already got quite a bit from the E-Blade. So I expect the Scotty to be the next pickup.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised with that either. I think it's probably the safer item to go. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going for the second Eagle Song, getting that Butterfly up and running. Certainly gives you a lot of damage, but I mean, the Scotty is not bad at all. It gives you some damage. You pretty much touched all the points of it, but I agree with you.
Yeah, Lovejoy's a little bit too far out of range for a waveform here, or else we definitely see Taku jumping in, as he does have the replicate available to him. The units will scout him out, though. If he's a little too far south here, he's going to go back to the north. But there's no Radiant Vision for him now until they jump into that Ward Vision, which is a little bit to the south of most of them. So he's going to replicate out to that top lane.
Yeah, mid lane getting kind of pressured in by the creeps a little bit here. Dripple's going to be rotating through, looking at that axe. Gotta be really careful, though. He is the one holding the gem. Meanwhile, Bristleback picks up an Assault Cuirass. Nicely done on him. And that's going to provide himself as well as his team with a lot of protection from this Medusa. Getting that extra 5 armor. And I mean, honestly, Vlad's up against Medusa, I think, is probably one of the most cost-effective items just to protect your team from that split shot damage as well. So we'll see if maybe, I know it sounds kind of weird, but maybe like the Earthshaker or the Lion eventually pick one up just to have that extra aura. And the percentage-based damage is very nice on the Morphling as well. But looks like he's gonna forego caution, going straight for the burst DPS, and picks up that second Eagle Song.
Yeah, CYS gonna pick up a Manta here shortly, and probably to purge off that ethereal form from the E-Blade. Meanwhile, top lane may get caught up, but he does scout out the Morphling. Will be able to Blade Fury back. And it is going to be the Butterfly, so yeah, it's Eagle Song there for the Morphling. Meanwhile, they pick off the Chen once again, and Cat really hasn't been able to find much in this game. Only the mech and the Arcane Boots on the Chen, and they haven't balled up enough for him to be effective. Yeah,
I was watching Taku in the top lane, wondering if he was going to get gone or go, and then all of a sudden Mega Kill pops up, and I was clicked where he was, he'd replicated out, and found an easy peasy kill. Lion had set it up for him. So we'll see. Roshan gonna be... Well, we'll know in a minute here when he's going to spawn. Another push coming bottom, and we'll see if RBD want to defend this one or they maybe want to try and trade. Fortunately, though, they're going to be trading 2 lanes. And now Morphling's finished up that Butterfly.
I don't know if they can kill him.
It's absurd.
I don't know
Yeah.
if they can kill him either. He's got 33 armor currently. Gonna replicate up this Earthshaker. He'll be fine to push this mid lane in. And that's all the outer tier towers now brought down. They're also gonna look to mount a defense top lane. Taku TPing in, has the E-Blade ready. Gonna pop the Lincolns. CYS looking to find him out. He'll be able to replicate back to that mid lane, however. And look to cue the push right away. Medusa does have a TP, as does CYS. But they're gonna jump forward, find the Chen easily with the shotgun. Jix gonna Yules up the Liposa axe, and he'll get the BKB off before the Requiem, but now he won't have that as he jumps back in, and Medusa a little bit late. CYS still looking to split push. The tier 3 goes down, Hex out onto HFN. He still has the Zone Gaze available though. Everyone gonna disengage and look to TP back for CYS, who's currently doing work in the bot lane, but he's gonna get hit with a Fissure, and the Enchant Totem will be able to back out, and the rest of a TWDI gonna look to continue forward. Juggernaut does have the TP available to him. Stone Gaze still available on HFN, but the melee racks is gonna be conceded here. Glyph popped a little bit too late from RBD.
And Churio gonna take some dubs to the back, not gonna be brought down. And Juggernaut actually looping through. Gotta be careful, he's gonna get spotted out. The E-Blade's there, the Lion Finger, it's gonna follow up as well. CYS brought down. And I mean, maybe now you look to go back, finish off the mid lane. Medusa,
Yeah, definitely so. At least force the buyback.
Pursuing. Not able to get off any goo. He's not yet, but he's still pursuing very hard. And now he does. Gonna pop the Lincolns, and now the SF blinks in. Doesn't have the Requiem, but instead just gonna go. Axe does go in though. Now they're looking to bring down the SF. Nice force step onto him. He BKBs, but he's gonna get frozen on the high ground. That's also the Lion down. Morphling brought still in form as well. Earthshaker tried to go in, didn't get off the Echo. Skylift Mage does pay though. Sorry, the Chen, that is. And they defend. Axe goes in, finishes off the Lion. Gonna get Eul's up, no Requiem for 10. Gonna cancel his Blink Dagger. Morphling now looking to go. Axe gonna pop that BKB. Force Snap away. And still keeping him out for now. Kind of.
That's a win overall for RBD. Their Juggernaut was down, and they only end up losing a Chen for a Lion in that engagement, and they keep their range racks in the mid lane, albeit their melee is down, so of course that lane is going to push heavily towards their side of the map, and unfortunately for them, Roche still not up for about a minute and 15 seconds here, so TWDI not going to be able to find anything off that.
Yeah, Morphling's got 4,000 gold.
Yeah,
he can.
That's certainly something.
I mean, he's got a Ring of Aquila he can ditch, and then use his Hand of Midas and farm up for another minute or two here, and he'll have the a Scotty when he wants it, or he can just save for buyback as well. I mean, it's not a big deal for him. He's just so fat right now. 25,000 net worth. Medusa's fairly close as well, and Medusa's a hero you can never count out. I don't know how many times I've seen a Medusa down with one lowly range rack, pick up a Divine Rapier, say screw it and push mid, and somehow manage to pull something out.
Yeah, I mean, if he picks up a Scotty, even if he doesn't save for buyback, I don't feel like they really have what it takes to kill Taku. So I wouldn't mind him picking that up without saving for buyback. He could be more disciplined in this play than I would, but he's starting to widen the gap with HFN's Medusa, and they haven't really been able to stack any Ancients for this Medusa either, considering that they've been choked into their base for the last 5 or so minutes. So CYS is farming a little bit of aggressively. He's actually going to opt for a Scotty before completing up the Manta for himself, and that's going to be very nice up for him, but doesn't really buff off his Omni Slash too much, and he's been kited around quite heavily in most of these engagements with the Lion, so I still do worry for his ability to be extremely effective in these engagements, and he needs to be a little bit careful in this bot lane. No TP available to him.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Scotty pickup at this point. I think they need way more damage out from him.
Yeah.
The Diffusal Blade doesn't do anything. I mean, I've seen him use it, try and pop the Lincolns on the Morphling twice, and then the Morphling just replicates out as soon as his Lincolns is popped. It's like, well, what do you do? And then, honestly, I think he should have gone for a Super Basher. I mean, if he has an Abyssal Blade here, he can pop the Abyssal either when he's just beside them, or maybe when he's Omni Slashing or something like that. Some way to lock down this Morphling. Because he can still Omni the Morphling. It'll pop the Lincolns, and then the rest of the bounces will go through. So it's not the end of the world. Morphling gonna be finishing off that Scotty. Looks like one now that he's picked up that.
Yeah, that's a massive pickup. Satanic as well out for Jix now, so he'll finally do some pretty significant right-click damage here. He'll also have a little bit of survivability. They have been able to burst him down more often than not in these engagements, and he is a big chunk of the damage from the side of TWDI, but full Scotty up onto Taku. and has been completed on the Juggernaut as well. But meanwhile, they're not going to be able to bring down Taku in these next engagements, I don't feel, unless they get a really, really nice chain of abilities off on him. Stone Gaze into Call, Mystic Flare, something along those lines, able to seal him up as well. He's currently sitting on 1,700 health he's got 37 armor right now.
He has become all that is raid boss. And it's going to be very tough. This Juggernaut's going to not be happy when he eats this. Actually, just going to, as soon as he sees him, just Blade Fury's away. Wants nothing to do with that, and Taku he's pretty much can do whatever he wants. He's got free roam of the map. If anyone but the Medusa, maybe the Juggernaut walks into his vision, they're going to go down. I think he even kills the Axe, honestly. Like, yeah, maybe if Axe gets off the BKB before, but it'd be very close. It's going to be tough. And we'll look to see when the Radiant want to push. They are fairly well ahead, and they've managed to bring it back to about a 10,000 gold lead and 75, maybe 8k experience in their favor. Nicely done there, and maybe they hopefully they don't make the same mistake that RBD did, as RBD have a much better lineup to defend.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at this point, rough math in my head. We're seeing the E-Blade before resistance do about 750 damage. So, like, that's absolutely massive. You add in a waveform to that, which is another 325 damage before resistance, and you're talking about 1,000 damage nuke just coming out from the Morphling himself. So this Chen pretty much dead. The Skywrath, of course, dead if he already isn't, which he fed over in bot lane. And there is a replicate available to the Morphling as well to join this as he pushes in that top lane. So certainly RBD on the ropes here, and we'll see if they're able to mount a defense as TWDI was in game 1.
Yeah, Medusa does have a butterfly, so we'll be able to evade a lot of the damage, as well as having that extra armor to deal with the bristleback. Gonna get stunned up, though. What are buyback statuses here? None on the Dire, except for the Axe. So they gotta be very careful. Medusa gonna eat a couple spells and back off. Bristleback, still very tough to deal with. Boy, oh boy, does he hit hard with that DD rune. We'll see if they want to go. Skywrath isn't the most integral to their defense, but still,
yeah,
down a hero, it's tough, especially as they're already down mid lane of Brack, so those are going to be pushing in any moment, and with this wave, I imagine we'll see him go high ground.
Yeah, I mean, Taku is going to jump forward, Stone Gaze is going to be popped off, but he's going to be able to E-Blade down the Chen with relative ease. They are going to bring down Jix once again very early. The dunk is going to be there, and they're going to be able to Omni Slash off the Bristle. He's turned around, so not doing too much work. Diffusal Blade going to slow things up. CYS going to look to disengage. Waveform to the south from the Morphling. And overall, once again, 1-0 for RBD. They bring down this SF early on, and now they have the Skywrath available to them as well. Stone Gaze is down, however, Taku looking perhaps to re-engage, but the Bristleback very low. Scotty slowing him up, and there's the jump forward. The call is there as well. The Culling Blade is going to finish off the Bristleback, and Taku left to his lonesome. No replicate available to him. He's going to have to wait for him to the high ground. Blink available on the Axe in 1 second, and if Liposa guesses right, he's going to catch him, but Earthspike there from the Lion, and Curio valiantly so going to feed over his life for his Morphling. Meanwhile, Liposa still looking to chase down the final 2 members of TWDI. He needs to be careful. Morphling can re-engage and blow him up pretty quickly, but we are going to see Taku jump forward. There's the E-Blade. Blade Mail, though, doing so much work, and he's got the Blink Call available, but the Morph is going to keep Taku more than healthy enough to not be dropped to that 4k gold up on this Morphling. RBD just not able to bring him down, but still successful high ground defense nonetheless.
No, that was a very nice defense coming out from RBD. They keep everybody important alive. They only lose the Chen and the Skywrath over the course of that. They get the Bristleback and the Shadow Fiend, and I wonder if that's not going to be the kind of how this goes. The Morphling is so hard to kill that you just don't worry about him. You have to just let Medusa kill everybody else, and then the Morphling's going to have to back because he won't be able to 1v5. Whereas the SF, you can burst down pretty easily. He's only got 17 armor and 2,000 health, and I mean, for 44 minutes in, that's not enough to deal with the damage that's going to be coming out from both the Mystic Flare, the Juggernaut, the bonus damage from Penitence, and different things like that. So it's very interesting, as well as the damage from the Medusa, who attacks very fast with the Butterfly. Now they're actually looking to gank up the Morphling. He's going to wait for him forward. He's got his replicate out, and he's going to just disappear, heading to the bot lane.
Yeah, they really need to purge that Linken's and seal him up if they had any chance of killing him off, but unable to do so as CYS a little bit too antsy to jump in there. Taku is going to be scouted out bottom by a Centaur, however. Liposa is available here with a call. Not going to jump in as there's no support available to him, however.
Yeah, so a little bit rough for TWDI. They try and push, they get buffeted back, and I think next time you get a... Oh, we're going to see an MKB coming out for Taku, and I think that's the perfect item choice. He's going to be
Yeah.
completely 6-slotted once he gets that and buyback. There's no need for him to continue taking farm. So we'll see if he wants to go. Going to just pop that Lincoln's and back off. But my point was, oh, maybe we're going to see an engagement here. He's going to get silenced. No, he's going to replicate out. The Fissure there connects nicely. Death Mage probably going to drop to the Requiem. Not quite. Now the Medusa looks to turn things around. Stone Gaze used. The Shadow Fiend very high up on the ground. He's going to be going down, and all that for the Chen. Not a good call there. HFN going to back off a little bit, kept alive by the Healing Ward. Everybody's still very healthy on RBD except for that Chen. But, I mean, nicely done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's mixed emotions from TWDI, but Taku looked to back off, Jix looked to go forward, and once again, not playing the greatest on this SF in this one. They will finish off the range racks in the mid lane, but just a consolidation prize for losing their SF. Jump forward, Cole's going to try and drag the Bristleback back up to the high ground. Battle Hunger will be there. Fissure, though, going to stifle the aggression from RBD, and meanwhile, not willing to jump out of their base, and definitely wisely so. They once again trade a support for a core.
And you know what? Honestly, at this point, I think Medusa can go Divine without a single need to worry. And the reason why is the Morphling, his entire contingent of burst until he gets that MKB finished is going to come from his ulti, or sorry, not his ulti, his shotgun, his adaptive strike, and the E-Blade. And it doesn't hurt Medusa. She's got so much effective HP with the mana shield up, the evasion for now. The Lincoln's going to be blocking something. Because, I mean, they've got goo, but if Bristleback can't get there to get the goo off, then they've got to try and get the Lion in for either Earthspike Finger. I guess Lion's very good at canceling it, but it's just, he's got to get up in Medusa's grill then, and that's not a place you want to be.
Yeah, especially if he gets gazed up. Pretty much a gaze and a Mystic Snake with the pure damage from the Mystic Snake is going to bring him very low and probably, if not totally dead. So I definitely expect a big damage item to come out from HFN, as you mentioned. But Taku is going to get scouted out by a Dire Ward here on the high ground. They do know he's available. No replicate to him right now. They're going to wrap around from the north and are going to look to taunt him up. They will be able to get that off. He's going to think he gets a solo kill until he posts a Mystic Flare comes out, though. Chop is there a little early, but that's a massive kill onto the Morphling. He doesn't complete up the MKB, so does have buyback available, but definitely look for RBD to force that out.
Oh, and that is a big pickoff. He was worth quite a bit of gold. I believe he was on the streak as well. Yep. Going away the Skyra's Mage, so not a terrible thing, but he was worth 1,700 gold for the Dire and lost 750 himself, as well as 2,400 experience, so definitely a nice pickoff there, but they're going to have to back off to deal with the creep. But Medusa's not going to have an issue with that.
Yeah, it's the right play from TWDI, pushing their lanes in, knowing that they want to force the buyback. And Jipples is going to get brought down very easily, but, I mean, not the biggest deal. He's got buyback as well. They force back RBD from looking to push into their base. So they lose the Morphling, but they play damage control. Look to push in immediately and force rotations back. However, Roshan up in about 30 seconds now, and that's going to be very nice for RBD. And enjoy your prize if you got a ticket, guys. A Rapier pickup, as Wolf alluded to, by the Medusa for HFN.
Yeah, and so, I mean, I think at this point
it's the right pickup.
Yeah, you just go mid. Like, Medusa, I feel like is almost immortal at this point. I mean, they've been trying so hard to bring her down, and every time they do, there's very good force snaps coming out from the, I believe it's the axe, keeping everybody alive. And if they catch two out, oh, the call on both! They're going to bring down the Lion. They're going to bring down the Bristleback. That's two dead. Instant buyback from one. Lion doesn't have it, but now Bristleback forced to use his, and this is very scary. Medusa can just chip away from the low ground. Doesn't have to worry about it a whole lot. Juggernaut going to pump some Manta Illusions up here. Bristleback can't go in on this. What do they have to engage? I mean, even the Blink Echo is not that great from the Earthshaker, so they're going to lose that tower, and they're going to have to back off. Maybe don't overcommit Bristleback.
Chase into this.
Yeah, he's going to eat a bit of a Stone Gaze. Going to get slowed down, called up as well. Turned around by the Medusa, and Axe is going to make it out. Nice Requiem coming up, but unfortunately it's not enough. Earthshaker gets fissured up, and HFN still standing strong. They bring down the SF again. And now he's died once more. Morphling not able to finish off the Juggernaut.
Oh my god. This might be game. This very well could be game. The Medusa's still very healthy in this mid lane. Only Morphling in the Earthshaker up. They know the Bristle doesn't have buyback. SF does, however, the Lion is up now, so perhaps a little bit worrisome. He's got a lot of utility available to him. Concussive Shot goes out onto Taku. And they will look to jump this Medusa up to high ground. Still has a bunch of mana. He's going to try to get that drain down. Curio going to be able to pop his Ghost Sniper. Jump forward. Shivas is going to be there. Hex instantly onto Liposa. The E-Blade goes out with the Adaptive Strike onto Lovejoy. He'll be available to survive for now. And Medusa just going to chunk down these barracks. He's going to look to man up. He's been Fissure blocked off. Will be able to Manta. Can't feed over this Rapier. Will bring down Jix. And no buyback available from the SF. Now Taku left to his lonesome to fight this up. And the GG is called. We're going to have TWDI after a massive lead eliminated from the Dota 2 Canada Cup.
Yeah, very unfortunate for them. Oh, the graph disappeared just as I tried to check on it what the lead was there, but GG, well played indeed, coming out for RBD. Rebeldes, nicely played by them, and they didn't panic. I felt like they knew what was going on and just kind of figured, okay, we've got Medusa. We'll get a Divine, and they realized when she was strong. They realized exactly when she was this unkillable raid boss, and just backed off.
Perfect pickup as well on the Rapier. Definitely worth going for. And yeah, they chunk out. I don't know why the Bristleback chased out after they lost their tier 3. It really wasn't the big enough loss for them to jump in with the Stone Gaze still up. But either way, TWDI had some very nice defenses in game 1. They weren't able to close it out after the advantage that was surmounted by RBD. And in game 2, RBD playing on the defense was just a little bit more proficient in their movement than TWDI was. So well played to them. They'll move on to face the winner of Ape Zone versus Weeaboo. That match is coming up for you guys tomorrow, and the winner of that matchup will move on to the Dota 2 Canada Cup.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining me, Mr. at MRP Dota. They can follow you on Twitter and Twitch. What's your Twitch handle?
Same thing, MRP_Dota, guys.
So you can feel free to follow him there. You can follow myself on both Twitter and Twitch at WulfDota, WULF Dota. And don't forget to follow the Dota 2 Canada Cup as well as pick up a ticket. This is just the main qualifiers, boys. We've still got lots of games coming up with the main group stage and then into playoffs. So also comes with a very nice tied set. Don't be